Hello and welcome to Adventures in Venueland, an EAMC podcast. This is your all-access pass to go backstage and behind the scenes with some of the brightest minds that cross the scope of the live entertainment industry. I'm Dave Rettelberger.
And I'm Paul Hooper. We'll introduce you to some of our favorite people as we dive deep into the world of live touring shows and the venues that host them.
We are very excited about this episode of Adventures in Venueland. Everything you need to know for EAMC 2022. Yeah, we are heading to the Twin Cities June 15th through 18th. And, we often, if you're a listener to this podcast, but you're not familiar with the conference, a lot of times we talk about, you'll hear a guest or Paul or I will mention EAMC. And what is that? Well, it's a chance. It's the Event and Arena Marketing Conference. Let me say that. But it's a chance for industry professionals to get together. And, so many of the guests that you've heard right here on the podcast coming together, and people that work in arenas, stadiums, theaters, convention centers. But it's really talented professionals all across the live event industry: marketing, publicity, promotions, group sales, live touring shows, arenas, all getting together to network, to become educated, to share ideas with industry leaders. It is a great conference. I'm happy to be the president of it. And Paul Hooper is a longtime attendee / board member / head of our communications team. Paul, EAMC 2022. Yeah, I know you're excited.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's obviously our first in-person conference since 2019, which feels like ages ago. And one of the kind of amazing things about this is we're planning this Twin Cities conference. We were planning for it to take place in 2020, as so many other things were supposed to take place.
Right.
And so, you and I were talking about Minneapolis conference, back in probably 2018, as early as that. And then, slowly building up to it, we had a planning meeting there in Minneapolis in the fall of 2019. And then here we are finally seeing it come to fruition. And that city has such a important meaning to the conference itself, too, because we're now over 40 years that the conference has been happening, and the first city that it was in was Minneapolis. And then for the 10th and 20th anniversaries, it was also there. So it's really amazing to be heading back to that town.
Yeah, when we were going to do this originally, this kind of was going to be our 40th anniversary celebration, and now we're just not sure how to count things anymore. We're still kind of celebrating all things EAMC and the long history and all the great people that is brought together over the years. But one of the neat things that as we look at 2022 is we have a lot of first-time attendees. Maybe they attended the virtual conference last year, which we had, such a great time. Surprise guest Dave Grohl, one of the all-time EAMC highlights when he popped into the conference, was great. But here we are back in person. So many people new in the industry, so many people new at the conference, and we thought this podcast will just kind of give you a little preview of what to expect. If you've been going for a long time, or if you're a first timer, either way, it's a good refresher because it's been a while and human interaction hard, right?
Right, exactly. What is networking? I don't know. Is that what I do with my dog at home by myself?
Right, no kidding.
Yeah.
First thing that people should know is, if you haven't registered yet, you can still register, and all the info, all the real details, when you like to see stuff written out, eventarenamarketing.com. That's eventarenamarketing.com. We got a great website there. We've got all kinds of options and pictures and fun stuff for you to check out and register, because it is not too late for you to join us. For a while, we were, a little nervous about attendance. Are people going to want to return to live conferences? But we have a great number of people signed up, and we are, in fact, I'm going to say we're running into a little bit of hotel space challenges, right?
Sure.
So, there's the hotel where we're staying. But if you have any challenges with hotels and you're not sure, we've got some great options when you're doing your booking. And we're happy to help with that too. The contact us button there on the website, reach out and we can give you all kinds of great alternatives too.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely taken off here in the last month or so. And it was something, to your point, that we were looking at the registration numbers and we're not sure, what to compare it to. You can't really compare it to what would have been 2020. And, we could compare it to 2019, but that's a different city and it's a different time and different people. And, here we are, registrations have picked up. People are excited to get back to the conference. As you mentioned, we have a lot of new blood in the industry, as I think we all know. So there's going to be a lot of people here that are eager to learn more about the industry as a whole. I think I was just talking to someone about this yesterday, maybe, where it seems like the people that I've worked with over the years or who have worked with me, under me, I always really key in on trying to get them to the conference, because it's almost like there is a marked difference of pre-EAMC, post-EAMC. And when people attend, it's like their eyes widen and they understand the bigger picture of the industry as a whole. They understand that they're not alone in some of these shared challenges that happen. Maybe you're waiting for tour art for a show that's going to announce in an hour and a half. Guess what? There's 30 other people waiting for that same tour art, and you're going to meet them all there, and you all can, lick your wounds together. So I think there is this shared kind of camaraderie and unity that's there. And I think that's just one of the many special things about the conference that, when people attend for the first time, I think it really energizes them and shows them that, this industry is a big, wide space and there's lots of other people that they can lean on.
We should mention, it's a nonprofit, and as you mentioned, it did start back in 1980, 10 folks getting together at the Met Center in Minneapolis. And it has grown, obviously to several hundred attendees these days. And it kind of, sometimes years it's really big. Like all of a sudden when you're in Las Vegas, all the general managers decide to show up.
Funny how that is.
But, it is, and one of the things, and I remember my first EAMC, I didn't know anybody, right? But I kept hearing, oh, you'll make these contacts and these will be some of your friends for life. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I've heard this spiel before. I'm telling you, if you're in the marketing industry, it is so true. I talked to somebody that I met at EAMC every single day. There's just some reason why it's, some little interaction. And it's because, whether they used to be an intern and now they're running a tour, or it's because, right. Like you said, that you got to reach out to somebody and say, hey, Justin Bieber, not approving house photographers is what I'm hearing. Are you hearing the same thing? And what are you going to do? And how'd you whatever it is? There are so many different reasons beyond all the sessions. And boy, let's talk about the sessions, because this year, Adam Armit from Scotiabank Arena and his team on Agenda have done an amazing job of pulling things together for this conference. We have so many great sessions. You can read every single one of them on our website. But it's so cool to see all the little ideas that people send in through the website, through our social media, and now all coming together. Kicking it off Wednesday, June 15th, we kind of do our first time attendees welcome. And if you are the kind of person who, I don't know how I feel about a session, mingling and that kind of stuff, if you're a first time attendee, go to this, because you will meet people there that you will see again and again at the conference. So you'll always have a friendly face in the room.
100%. And there's also the team building, which is also that day. And that is something that I could not recommend enough. Obviously, there's no, content there, but it is one of the most valuable parts of the conference, because to your point, my first conference, which was in 2010 in Chicago, I did the team building and I was a little like, do I want to do this? I'm not going to know anyone on my team. Is that, as much as we're all kind of somewhat extroverts when it comes to like PR and publicity in our building, sometimes when you go to a big room and there's a lot of other people, it's easy to kind of maybe not feel as comfortable with that. But I signed up for it, and I know all the people that are on that team. I still talk to almost all the people on that team, which is crazy to think about. But, some of those people are, mentors of mine, they're colleagues. Some of them have left the industry and some of them have come back. And it's, I think that's a really important thing. And that first timer session plays into that as well. You meet a lot of new people. You'll also meet veterans that are going to, help guide you, answer any questions you have, really be kind of like, helpful to you throughout the week as you're taking it all on.
I couldn't agree more on the team building, because I'm going to tell you, Paul, I have some social anxiety. I have no problem talking on a microphone in front of 10,000 people. But when I have to go up to somebody one-on-one and have some conversations, if I don't know them or putting myself out there, sometimes it's hard. And so my boss was said, in my first EAMC, do the team building. And this is why we are here, is to meet people and to make these connections. And she kind of strong-armed me into it. I'm so glad she did. And I've done it every year since, because again, everybody's in that same boat. We all kind of work together, and I'm telling you, it makes the uncomfortable situations comfortable. It is a great chance to get to know people, and it all starts with that first timer session. So please, check that out if you're a first timer, and if you have come to EAMC for years but not done team building, this is the year. We're doing the ultimate city scavenger hunt. I'm going to tell you, those are always my favorite. When we do the scavenger hunts, those are always my absolute favorite way to kind of get things rocking at the conference.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, usually almost every year we do that. And it's not only a great way to network with people, but you're also getting to explore the city, because sometimes, depending on what your schedule is like when you're flying in and out, it might be a little tight with the conference. And if you're going to Minneapolis or St. Paul or whatever year that we have the conference in, sometimes it's, hard to actually see the city. So this is a perfect opportunity to really explore around downtown, say that I saw this landmark, I saw this sculpture, but then you're also networking with people at the same time.
We've got some great sessions that first day. NFTs, blockchain ticketing. Do you know what these things mean? I do a little bit. I like to learn a lot about it, because then if it's not for me, at least I can make that educated thing of saying, oh, I'm not doing this, but this is why. So I do like learning about that kind of stuff. And we got some great session also on building and maintaining effective relationships, which you always take a good tip away or two away from there. And then you can put those things you learn into effect that night at the big kickoff party, which as recording this, we haven't revealed the details, but I'm telling you, we get something fun in the works for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be big,
big,
literally big scale location. And we're going to do it up.
Yeah. Now, we say we're going to do it up, and we are, but there are a couple changes. If you've been to EAMC for years, we had to kind of look at what we do, and we are nonprofit. We were losing money. So we had to look at some ways that we could get ourselves back within our budget, right? Just like everybody else. The pandemic hit us hard, right? So one of the things that we won't be doing in 2022 is the breakfasts, right? So we always used to provide a breakfast, and I like to be honest with people, that is not an option this year. Financially, it just didn't make sense for us, and a lot of people didn't really attend or eat the breakfast because they were getting there just in time for that first session. So the amount of, but there's lots of great options there at the hotel and in the immediate area, and then we're going to kick things off at 9:00 that Thursday, June 16th, with some great stuff, a sustainability session, which is really cool, and then something I'm really excited about at 10:00, our keynote session, Red Shoes Living. Do you know much about Red Shoes Living, Paul?
I don't, honestly, but it's highly recommended. So as much as I'm maybe not as aware, the people that do know say that it's going to be a great session. And to be totally honest with you, from all the conferences that I've attended, sometimes it's the ones that are not like exactly connected to the industry, or it's not like, oh, I'm a president of some big promoter, that you actually learn the most from, because it's these people that can kind of apply their knowledge to what you're doing in a more general sense. And some of those are absolutely the best. And I think this is going to be no different than that. It's going to be a really great keynote.
Absolutely agree. You remember a couple of years ago, we had the guy who ran the Lance Armstrong's Live Strong Foundation. Right.
Yeah.
And everything had gone sideways for the foundation with Lance, and he still came up and gave one of the most memorable and impressive presentations as a keynote speaker. And it was, again, how does this connect to me in live event industry? but there were so many takeaways about how when things go sideways, you can get back on track. And Lonnie Main, this guy who does Red Shoes Living, if you're not familiar with it, don't worry about it. It's absolutely an amazing presentation that we've been trying to put together for years as part of a keynote for EAMC, and we think you're really going to love it. After that, there's some great concurrent sessions, whether it's, some group sales, fun stuff, or how do you really market a show these days? Adding value to your valuable product, breaking the norm of venue social media. We do all roundtables, our little group discussions, and some great stuff there where you can really kind of get interactive and talk to people about a variety of things. And there'll be so many neat little options there you can choose from. And of course, that day we do have our awards luncheon, which is always an EAMC highlight.
Yes. I mean, the awards is kind of built up each year. And, historically, we always have the Gigi Award winner, which is sort of the most prestigious award that we give out. And then we also have Hall of Fames. But then, in the last, I don't know how many years we've been doing it now, but I think it's like 6 or 7 years. We've been doing all these award categories, kind of like your Academy Awards, if you will, for the best, publicity campaign, the best artist welcome, the best artist gift. So all of those will be returning again. It's also, we're having people be able to submit their stuff from back in 2019, because normally we would have done 2019 and then we would have gifted it in 2020. So we've got people that have submitted and they've become finalists. We just announced the finalists a short bit ago as of while we're recording this right now. And so it's these great, amazing, incredible ideas, especially when it comes to some of these gifts and welcomes. It's really jaw-dropping, and something that even if you don't feel like you can pull off in your market, it's really inspiring to see kind of how outside the box some of these people go. And then also you've got different awards that will tell you about some of these really amazing people, such as the Impact Award, the Hall of Fames, the Gigi. That are these people that are making a big difference in their community, or a big difference in the industry as a whole, or a huge difference for the conference. So it's a great opportunity, even for new people, to learn about these incredible veterans and people that are really doing big things to kind of help move the industry forward. And, it's an opportunity for those people to network with them as well.
So then we, looking ahead at the schedule for June 17th, have you ever found yourself in a media firestorm and how you convey information to guests, or maybe you're challenged keeping your team motivated in a post-pandemic world, or you had somebody reach out and say, hey, can we use influencers, or how can we do that? That's just a few of the topics that will be covered in just the morning before we get to lunch. And after lunch, Paul, there's a very special little session that I think I'll see you at for sure.
Drum roll. Yes. So we are so excited to actually be recording a live in-person episode of Adventures in Venueland. For anyone that attended the virtual conference last year, or just has listened to the episode after the fact, we did a little bit of a simulated version of this, where we recorded an episode with a WWE wrestler, and people were able to sit in and kind of watch that live, and then we released it. But this is going to be a true live episode where we're going to have the audience there reacting. We're going to have people be able to ask questions. And then the guest is Dana Frank, who is the president of First Avenue Productions, which is this legendary venue in Minneapolis, but also she's co-founder of NEVA, which is the National Independent Venue Association. And I think probably anyone listening to this has heard of that group, but they're the people that really lobbied to help save so many of these venues during the last 2 years and, get federal funding. So we're excited to talk with her about just all of everything that she's been involved with, from the venue there in the city to NEVA and everything beyond.
Very excited about that. And then the afternoon finishes strong. We have a great session on, we do a couple concurrent sessions, one about artist gifting in a post-pandemic world. And one of the ones, obviously diversity and DEI has been a big focus for the EAMC team behind the scenes, but a great concurrent session to wrap things up on how to successfully market to diverse groups.
Yes. And it is something that we've talked about on this podcast, definitely with some previous guests who are involved in that. But we've got a number of sessions that, talk about recruiting diverse candidates for positions, how to market to diverse groups. So it is a big priority for us to better inform attendees on how to, reach better, more diverse audiences, because it is a priority for us as a conference to make sure that we have diverse groups of people that are attending, but we're also doing our part in making sure that we reach diverse audiences within each of our cities, because as we all know, there's so many different shows that we get. And, sometimes it's not cookie cutter. It's not, treating one like the next. And so I think the more we can educate people and inform them and have them have the ability to ask questions, the better.
Friday night, we have something really fun planned. Again, which details on the website, maybe up there by the time that you even listen to this podcast. But lots of great stuff planned for that kind of closing night. And then Saturday, June 18th. Is kind of your day to explore Minneapolis, to St. Paul. There's so many options, from Paisley Park, if you're a Prince fan, going to his recording studios, to obviously the Mall of America. There's some great local breweries. There's a very cool festival happening, the Stone Arch Bridge Festival. You can just rent a kayak. It is the land of lakes, right? 10,000 lakes. So again, all those options are there on our website as well, if you need more details or links to the fun stuff. Before we wrap things up, Paul, let's talk a couple pro tips. Your pro tips for attending the conference that you should know. Mine is one that always is a good reminder: bring a jacket, right? Because sometimes, no matter how hot it is outside, inside a lot of the hotels and conference areas, it gets a little chilly. So always good to have a jacket there with you.
Yeah, that's a great one. My pro tip would be to try to step outside your comfort zone and meet a bunch of new people. I'm similar to Dave. As much as people who know me think of me as an extrovert, I can definitely be an introvert at times. And the way I sort of approached the conference when I first attended, and I think everyone maybe has this opportunity, is you have a little bit of the ability to reinvent yourself. People outside of the conference, they don't know you. They don't know who you are. They may never see you again. They're in other cities.
They don't remember the dumb thing you did in high school.
Exactly. So show up and be ready to meet new people, mingle, make new friends. And that's how you're really going to get the most out of the conference. We make it as easy as we possibly can for you, and we will be there. You can come up to Dave and I. This is an open invitation. Come up, tap us on the shoulder, ask us questions. I can shepherd you through the whole week if you want. But, we also, people need to take advantage of it themselves. So that does require, meeting new people. Sit down at a table with a bunch of people you don't know. If you're going with some coworkers and you're with 4 or 5 other coworkers, don't just stay with them the whole time. Go meet some other people, go to different sessions, because you're really going to get a lot out of it.
It's so true, right? That was a hard one for me because, you always wanted to go to that table where you knew everybody. So sitting down at a table where you don't know as many folks, making some new friends is always one of the challenges I put upon myself, and great pro tip. Hey, one thing I definitely want to mention: everybody, when you signed up, registered for EAMC, you saw that we are requiring proof of vaccination this year. If you're in the live event industry, that's not too unusual to require proof of vaccination. And we will be checking. How do we check? It's real easy. Just bring your Vax card, or bring a picture of it if you don't want to bring the actual card itself. Either way, when you register, you'll have to show that. It's just that simple, though. Show the Vax card and we're all good. So if you have any questions on anything, again, the contact us page at eventarenamarketing.com. Paul, I think that's a nice little glimpse behind the scenes, right?
There it is. I mean, we're excited about it. It's going to be here before we know it. It's kind of wild, but we are very much in the full-fledged planning period, and many Zooms being had on the planning side behind the scenes to get ready for it. So we're excited to see everyone in person, and I'm sure I'm going to leave the week thinking that I wish I spent more time with every single person that I saw that I haven't in 2 or 3 years. So it's going to be really special to see everyone again.
And that's my alarm going off, telling me I got a 2:00 meeting I got to get to here for another EAMC call. It's one of the things I should mention. We do put a lot of work in behind the scenes. Paul and I, and it's not work year round, but it's a good chunk of the year. And,
Sure.
Again, depending on if you're an officer or a planning committee member, there are different levels of commitment that you can do. But we're always looking for some fresh faces. So if you would like to join EAMC in helping us plan the next conference, you go and you think, oh, we should have done something about this, or why didn't we cover this? Or, you know what, I have this idea for a sponsor or diversity. I know some great ways we could attract. Whatever, we would love to have you join us. We would love to have, we're always looking for fresh faces. And so after the conference or at the conference, please reach out to us. We're always looking for new people and people who are motivated to be active and be a part in making this a better industry for all of us.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, I think it's something that it's easy to kind of see the people and think, okay, these people are kind of, you know, this bubble that plan it, but we're always bringing in new blood, and we always want new people to help with planning. And it's not this insurmountable amount of work, but it really is a team effort, and credit to our entire planning committee team that really puts in a lot of time, divided up amongst a bunch of people. But they really keep the engine running, and we're an all volunteer group. So I can't really overstate enough how amazing our whole team is.
Any questions, you can also reach out to Paul and I directly through our social media. I'm at Dave Rettelberger most places. Are you just at Paul Hooper, right?
At Paul M. Hooper.
Paul M. Hooper. Yeah, because Paul Hooper on Gmail has gotten a lot of my notes to you over the years.
That's true. Yeah.
Don't forget the M.
Better.
Hey, thanks for everybody for listening. I know this is a little bit of a different kind of episode than usual, but we did want to, we're very passionate about the conference, and we wanted to share that with you. We hope you can join us in person for a very exciting conference and a very special live episode of Adventures in Venueland. Remember, you can subscribe and then find more episodes, our traditional stuff where we talk to marketing professionals and people all across the live event industry, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Please give us one of those 5-star reviews so you can help others find us. Until the next adventure, which is hopefully together in the Twin Cities, I'm Dave Rettelberger.
And I'm Paul Hooper. We will see you in Minnesota. Adventures in Venueland is a side project of the Event and Arena Marketing Conference, a nonprofit organization bringing together people in the field of live entertainment to discuss marketing, publicity, and sales trends. Find out more at eventarenamarketing.com.
Audio editing and mixing by Camille Faulkner.
Design and digital advertising by Megan Ebeck.
Copywriting and publicity by Samantha Marker.
Guest booking and brand strategies by Paul Hooper.
Guest research by Dave Rettelberger.
Marketing strategies by Paul Hooper, Megan Ebeck, and Samantha Marker. Thanks for joining us. Until the next adventure.